Hey, my Liptons. So I know it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I did a video, but I really wanted to do this topic. Um, I wanted to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it because obviously many people have been talking about it, but I feel like I'm the only one that hasn't had an opinion on this. And just FYI, just a little warning. There's gonna be a lot of unpopular opinions in this video, so please, let's be respectful. Let's have an open dialogue, and let's discuss why I feel like I don't want to say Bollywood because I know Bollywood. I need to actually stop saying Bollywood because I know the Hindi film industry doesn't want to be known as that. So it's like I need to start saying the Hindi film industry is failing at the box office, and especially when we're talking about international appeal. The Hindi film industry is not getting the same, like international mainstream, like even in their own domestic box office, they're not getting the same love compared to the South Indian film industry is getting. So, as you guys know, the South Indian film industry, it has been on the rise for like at least a half a decade now. I would say a decade, half a decade. Like they've been on a roll. Like they've been on a roll. I feel like it started with me personally. I think that it really started with Bahubali. What's it called? Bahubali. I think that's what the movie was called. I personally never watched the movie, but I know my dad and my brothers have watched the movie and they said how amazing it was. It's so great. It's so amazing. That sort of thing. Um, I remember it starting with that. And then it just seems like ever since then, it's just all you've been hearing is about these South Indian movies just like really doing really well. And if y'all don't know, which I think you all guys all know, now the new South Indian movie that's like really taking like just South Indian cinema to like heights it's never been before is the movie RRR. And now, you know what I'm saying? Like now they've been nominated for an Oscar, for the song Not to, even though personally, I'm gonna get to it. Yeah, they've been nominated for Not to and everything like that. So they listen, the creators of RRR and everybody, they're getting their big one. Like they're definitely doing it. They won a Golden Globe for the song as well. So they're doing really well. Now, we just need to figure out why is it that the Hindi film industry is not doing what it's supposed to do, right? Because for the longest time, right, the Hindi film industry has been the top dog. Like they have been the ones on top. They have been the ones over. Like you couldn't talk about, films or that sort of thing without you including the Hindi film industry because that's how big they were. Like if we're talking about the actors and actresses that came out of the Hindi film industry, Shahrukh, Salman, Amir, Aishwarya Rai, Karina, the Kapoor family, everybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like to see these big stars like them not getting the same numbers, I would say, as the South Indian industry is real telling, right? It's very telling. So I do want to read this article before I get to my own personal thoughts as to why I believe that what's going on here as far as like the two different films. So there's an article by livemint.com. So it says here, has Hindi cinema lost its magic touch? The fears are exaggerated. I don't know how exaggerated are they. So this article is from December 2022. Okay? So it says here, 2022 has been a year in which cinema from southern states stuck a chord with the national audiences. Resounding success of spectacle and action films like RRR, KGF, Pushpa, and smaller budget films like Kantara and Kartikeya too on a national level and muted response to even the biggest Bollywood films led to terrifying statements that Bollywood is dead. But amidst all this, one question has stirred a major debate. How are South Indian movies able to strike gold while Hindi cinema fails at theaters? There has always been a connection between South Indian film industries and Hindi cinema in the form of collaborations, exchanging ideas and talent. And one hand, the Telugu filmmakers like oh God, I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name, Rao and oh God, I apologize if I don't know these people's names, and studios like yada yada, blockbuster Indian films, most likely remakes of South Indian films. And actually, we do want to talk about that, how Hindi films, have been making remakes of South Indian films. With the likes of Jitendriya, Sridevi, Dharminder, and yeah, these people. I guess these people, they're all from the South. Sridevi came from the South as well. Beyond cinema walls, the rise of satellite channels. Okay, yada 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 yada. The audience from the Hindi heartland found soft content and with action and heroism appealing. Around the same time, Hindi filmmakers started producing films like To NRIS, leading growing acceptance of South cinema in the Hindi heartland. Bahubali, like I said, definitely, that's the first time I really heard like a South Indian film really get like international recognition, right? Okay, so these are talking about, these are getting to the technicalities, and like it says here, most of the South Indian films which worked at the box office in recent times share a few things. First, they are all rooted in local and Indian culture, raw at times and far removed from sophisticated Western filmmaking. And the more local story is, the more it connects with the audience, okay? The biggest spectacles also tend to be hero-centric and action-driven, where the hero goes out of his comfort zone and becomes a messiah for the people around him. That's actually a good point. So I want to give you guys my bullet points as to why I feel like South Indian films are doing better than Hindi cinema. So obviously from that first line, from that article where it was talking about like the action driven stuff and that sort of thing, hero centric, we need to be honest, right? Right now, we are living in a time where everything is very blockbuster-ish. Everything is very just like, Marvel, superhero. Not too much storytelling, but like, yes, storytelling, but like not too much to the point where it's like the essence and like the context and just the depth within the story is not really there anymore, right? It's all about the action. It's all about the wow CGI and doing all this stuff. Right now, Marvel has literally taken over like in Hollywood. I'm talking about like the industry. It's like you won't see the numbers of people going to the movies until it's like a Marvel movie or like a Disney live action or that sort of thing, right? So when I see these South Indian movies, just by going by the trailers, because I haven't watched a lot of them, just seeing by the trailers, I can tell that it's very grand. It's very just like, CGI, here comes a tiger, here comes this, here comes that explosion, boom, 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 boom. So it's like immediately audiences is like, whoa, what is that? What's going on over there? We need to go see what's happening. So it's kind of like that sort of like explosion of things is sort of intriguing the audience. And it's not just, South Indian films that do that. Hollywood's doing the same thing. It's very super, that's what I'm going to call it. Superhero-centric era of what the audience wants to go see as far as like moviegoers, right? And we don't really get that from Hindi cinema. Like, and I'm not saying, listen, right or wrong, personally for me, y'all know I'm a Marvel fan. I like their films and stuff, but there's a certain point where it's like it becomes a little bit too much and oversaturated for me. So I think that that's why I really don't get too much into the South Indian films, especially the ones that are being produced now, because it's like it's giving me like the same version of what I'm getting in Hollywood, and it's just like, okay, like I need a break. I need a break. Okay, and I think that's where, you know, Hindi film cinema, whatever, Hindi cinema is kind of, you know, not really doing so well. Bullet point two. I wanted to scroll to this section of this. Do y'all guys see this chart? So a lot of, and they pointed this out in the article too, a lot of Bollywood tends to take ideas from the South Indian films. I did it personally for me because I grew up watching Hindi cinema. Like I grew up watching that stuff, so I didn't really know at first that they were taking some of their ideas from the Indian films. I had no clue. Like I didn't do my research at that time, so I'm just watching Gut. Yeah, I know I love Gachini, but I'm just watching Gachini. Like, yeah, this is a good movie. Da 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 da. Only to find out that this movie was a remake from somebody else, from the South Indian film, from the South Indian cinemas. I'm like, huh? So as you guys can see here, Wanted, Salman Khan, 2009, and was taken by Porkiri, which was made in 2006. Singham, Ajay Devan, he took it from Singham in 2010. Amit Khan, we already know about him with Gachani. And, this one, Hira Bir, took it from the South Indian industry. So it's like, I think audiences are sort of just like, okay, all y'all are doing is copying and pasting. Like all y'all are doing is just like not putting in the effort. All y'all just taking the film and just removing the Telugu language and just putting Hindi and just selling it to, the Hindi audience. And they're just like, listen, if it's just the same thing, I might as well go watch the original movie instead of me, be watching a watered down version of the film. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that these remakes are not good, because they really are good. I personally, for me, I do prefer Hindi films. That's just my personal taste. But I'm not saying that like it's bad or anything, but I'm just saying like people probably feel like, yo, they're taking from us. Like obviously, they pay for the rights to that sort of thing, but it's just like, okay, well, y'all making this film and it's from a different industry. I might as well go watch the original content or where the originality of the film came from, instead of me watching like another remake or another watered down remake to what the original copy was, right? So I personally feel like people are just like, okay, like Bollywood tends to do a lot of like remakes. Like look at the new film that Amir Khan and Kareena Kapoor did. I forgot the movie name. It's like an inspiration of Forrest Gump from Tom Hanks's movie. So you see what I'm saying? It's just like there's no new ideas coming to Bollywood, it seems. And I feel like the cycle is just like ongoing, and people are just kind of just over it, right? So they're just like, okay, well, let me just move on. Let me just watch the original movie instead of me watching a remake, because I feel like I'm not going to gain the same type of emotion that I got from watching the first movie, right? So that's how I feel. So that's point number two. That's point number two. I also want to point out that we need to be honest. I think audiences are very, 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 very tired of Hindi actors and Hindi actresses of today. Okay? Of today and yesterday, I would say. They're tired of them. And here's why I feel this way. If y'all remember, back in the pandemic, there was this whole thing that happened with, I forgot his name, Suhant, I think his name is Suhant Rajput, with his death, and like the whole rise in like discussion about nepotism, star kids, that sort of thing that's been happening. And I kept my mouth shut on that topic for a long time. I kept my mouth shut about it because I felt like, let it's not really my fight sort of thing. But it's just me, by observing, I felt like that the whole nepotism debate and topic really took a hit on on Bollywood, on the Hindi film industry. And I know a lot of the times they like to blame it on the pandemic, like especially now, like anytime you see, I was looking up articles and stuff like that about why Bollywood is not doing so well. And there's some articles where they will talk about, oh well, the pandemic and sort of da, 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 da. But I'm like, okay, well, the pandemic, I know for sure the pandemic also affected the South Indian film industry, but guess what, they bounced right back. And not even that they bounced right back. They're doing way better compared to what Bollywood was doing. And I'm sure they got the same budget as Bollywood too. So I don't want to hear pandemic. Like, I get it. Yes, the pandemic did had an effect on the film industry, but the pandemic had an effect on all film industries. And I don't want to just keep using the excuse of the pandemic, right? I think what really happened, and I feel like it's still happening, the nepotism conversation that occurred within 2020, 2021, 2022 really, really took a hit on the reputation of the Hindi film industry in Bollywood. I really do feel this way. I really do feel this way. Do you want to know why I feel this way? And I already felt it, but I was watching The Romantics on Netflix. And it got to episode 3, y'all. Go! I recommend you guys to go watch The Romantics on Netflix. It's a documentary on like just the Hindi film industry, like the history, Yash Chopra, Aditya Chopra, Ujay Chopra, and all that stuff. So I was liking it so far. Like, I really, really enjoyed that. I thought it was cute until episode 3 came, and that's when I really started to like kind of not mad, but like I was kind of just like rolling my eyes, because it was just like to hear. And listen, I understood what Aditya Chopra was trying to say. Like, I get what he was trying to say as far as like the whole nepotism debate and that sort of thing. Because like the episode was more focused on like how people whose families have connections to the Hindi film industry get more of a leg up compared to like other people who have to like bust their ass to get to even half of a fraction or half of like the amount of work that like someone like an Abhishek or Aishwarya Rai or whoever will get, right? Not to say Aishwarya Rai is like a nepotism person, but like I'm just talking about like Abhishek definitely is. So they were just basically saying like, oh, while yes, Uday, how do you say his name? Ujay Chopra got, a leg up in the industry, or Abhishek Bachchan got a leg up in the industry, doesn't mean that their films were successful, or that they were very successful movie stars, because they weren't, right? But here's my thing, and that is very true. Like, Abhishek Bachchan is nowhere near, like, we're talking about A-list. I'm not talking about the people who the woman he's married to, who his father is. I'm talking about like, as far as like Abhishek Bachchan, looking at him like on an A-list status. No. I would say Abhishek Bachchan, like, the best he's Abhishek is like a B- actor, like as far as like his movies and like what he does, like his B-, right? So the thing is, while I agree, yes, well, their films don't do well and it's the audience that decides what movies to go watch. But here's my problem, Aditya Chopra. Y'all know that Abhishek and Ujay Chopra are flopping, but yet you guys continue to give them like a quote unquote A-list role, knowing that their previous films have failed. Let's be very clear. Before Doom, Abhishek Bachchan's movies were failing completely, and they admitted that in the documentary. So they said Doom ended up taking it, but the issue is Abhishek Bachchan always needs somebody else in order for his movie to do well. Can we be honest about that? And I might have to do a video on a nepotism video on the Hindi film industry. I might have to do a video because now I want to be petty. But yes, Abhishek Bachchan always needs somebody else in his films in order for his film to do well. Can we keep it up? Can we be honest? So it seems like the whole like defense of nepotism and like how like, you know, these Hindi actors and actresses, the public sees them as out of touch. The public sees them as entitled. That's how the public sees them as. So it's like when they see someone who's like outside of, you know what I'm saying, like outside of that area, that land, they're like, listen, I'm about to go uplift the underdog, which is the South Indian film industry. Okay, I'm about to go uplift these people over here. Because it's like y'all just don't get it. Y'all don't get it. Y'all don't get how like nepotism really has an effect on jobs and the industry, you know? So, and I told you, like, and look at this picture right here. Look at Salman. Look at Shah Rukh. You know, to this day, Salman and Shah Rukh refuse to play daddy roles in their movies. They want to continue playing the hero in the movie. They don't want to play their dad roles. It's like as old as they are, they're literally about to be 60. They don't want to sit their asses down and play the dad. They want to continue playing the hero. They want to continue playing the romantic. They want to continue. So it's like people are tired. People are tired. People are tired of what is happening. So they're just like, you know what? If y'all not gonna switch it up, if y'all gonna continue putting these star kids, these nepotistic kids in my face, I'm gonna go uplift the South Indian film industry. And I'll make sure that they get the awards. And not only the awards here in India, I'll make sure they get the awards over there internationally. I'll make sure they get the Oscars. I'll make sure they get the Golden Globe. And let me be honest here. As much as like I said before in this video, I'm not too much of a big South Indian movie fan. Like, that's not my area. Like, I didn't grow up watching them, so it's kind of hard for me to really adapt to that kind of formula. But I do respect them. I believe they're gonna win the Oscar, y'all. I believe the RRR is going to win the Oscar. I think they're gonna win the Oscar for the Natu Natu song. That's what's gonna happen, and it's gonna set a precedent. Let me tell you something right now. While yes, Bahubali really set that precedent for like the South Indian film industry, but let me tell y'all, when RRR wins this Oscar, which I believe they are, no pun intended, this is going to set the precedent. Because let's be very clear, there is no Bollywood movie since I've been watching it. Let me just say, I have never ever seen or heard a Hindi film win an Oscar or Golden Globe, to add that. Never. I think that this movie is gonna win the Oscar, and let me say something. When they win this Oscar, it's going to set a precedent for, you know, not like here in America, but also in India, that the Hindi film industry is no longer the top dog. It's the South Indians over there. It's the Telugu people over there. They're the ones that's really putting in the work. They're the ones that are really doing it for us. They're putting us on the map. And it's going to set that precedent. Why do you think there's so many people, like now, I'm starting to kind of see it, like these Hindi actors and actresses flocking to the South Indian movies to do roles. And there's no shade. Alia Bhatt is in RRR right now. And I know she's rejoicing because she's like, well, girl, that's my movie too. But she's from Bollywood, though. She's from the Hindi film industry. Aishwarya Rai, she was just in a period piece in another South Indian movie. You know? They're all flocking to the South Indian movies to go do their films there. It's going to set a precedent, y'all. It's no longer going to be... Because remember, they used to get the South Indian actors and actresses to come to the Hindi film industry. Now, it's about to be the other way around. The Hindi film actors and actresses are about to go to South India to make their films. Okay? They want that international recognition. So, it's going to be interesting, y'all. It's going to be interesting. And I feel like the Hindi film industry needs to get their act together. And I already told y'all this. Y'all guys can go look at my ZTV Bollywood playlist. I told y'all how I felt like Bollywood has lost its spark. And I said this months ago. I said Bollywood has lost its spark. I said that how the ZTV shows have lost their, lost the casual fans. They really lost it. I've seen literally like the movie reviewers that I watch. When I found out that Chris Stuckman was reviewing RRR, I was like, oh, snap. I said this movie really went somewhere. Like this movie really did their big one. So I think Bollywood is really struggling right now. And honestly, if they continue to act entitled, that's really what it is. I think audiences are tired of the entitlement of, like, and it's no shit. And I love Kareena Kapoor. But I saw that one clip where Kareena Kapoor was, when the interviewer was asking her about nepotism, and Kareena Kapoor was like, oh, we're not the ones that make ourselves stars. It's the audience that make us stars. This is a non-topic. This is a non-issue. You see, is that entitlement right there is what's fucking them up, y'all. And I'm sorry for cursing. That's what's messing them up. And that's why audiences are flocking to somewhere else. Because they're like, you know what? I don't want to put my money in these people who don't even want to recognize and acknowledge the fact that the reason you're like their daddy and their mom or their aunt or their cousin or whatever are taking up all these roles, when you have an actor or actress who wanted to be an actor or actress for so long, worked their butts off to want to get to this point, and they will never get to that point because you have someone like a Karan Johar and whoever hiring these same, nepotistic kids. It is no shade. Janvi Kapoor, she's another one too. So I don't know. It's gonna keep getting worse. It's gonna keep getting worse for them until they learn to figure it out. Now, like I said, personally for me, I'm not a South Indian. Like I can't really watch it. It's not my tea. Like they honestly, I feel like they need to work on their CGI a little bit more. Like it's a little bit too, like, how you can tell like it's too CGI-ish. They need to work on it. They need to work. You can tell like they need to work on their CGI. Then again, the songs are not really hitting for me either. I'm sorry. I know y'all love, and this is gonna be such an unpopular opinion. But I do not like the song Natu Natu. I'm sorry. Like I'm just, maybe because I'm old school. That's probably why. I love like the old classical like kind of vibe, like romance kind of vibe without the freaking beat in the background. And that's also another thing too I do want to talk about. I think because Bollywood has gotten so westernized, okay? Because Bollywood has gotten so westernized, people are like kind of over the whole like some of these Bollywood, like some of these Hindi actors and actresses are talking more English in the films that they are talking Hindi. Like, huh? It's just like, sorry, like, can y'all guys please speak in your, like, listen, I get it, like, they're trying to, and don't get me wrong, I love, a mixture of Western culture and Eastern culture. I have no issues with that. But when the Western culture starts to overpower your culture, we're starting to have an issue. We have a big issue, and it's starting to spill into the music that they're making. I'm sorry, like, I haven't listened to a Hindi soundtrack from a movie in so long, because it don't hit like it used to. It does not hit like it used to. And listen, and they keep using the same guy over and over again to keep singing the same songs. Arijit Singh is no shade. I like Arijit. I like Agar Tum Saath Ho, whatever. That's my song right there. But it's like they're using him for all the songs. It's just like, bro, like, can y'all guys get somebody else to sing these songs? Like, the songs is a little bit too Western for me. It's a little bit too rugged and a little bit too, I don't know, raspy. Like, the songs are very raspy now compared to like how it used to be. Like, Hindi songs used to be so, the movie soundtracks used to be so like soulful and so like versatile. Now it's just very one-dimensional, and I don't like that. Like, I don't like that. But yeah, like I said, maybe I will get into the South Indian films. Maybe I will in the future. It depends. But they really need to work on, first of all, they need to work on their CGI. Like, their CGI be killing me. Like, it's oh God, it be, When I saw that tiger in Bahubali, I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, no, ma'am. Yeah, they need to work on the CGI. Hopefully they come up with better songs. I'm sorry, Nato Nato is not it. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's another song too that's kind of on the fence with me. But either way, tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you guys feel like, do you guys agree with any of my points? Do you guys feel like Bollywood has not due to it's not due to the pandemic, it's due to the fact that the Bollywood actors and actresses are very entitled. They don't like to acknowledge their privilege. They tend to brush that off, and now the audiences are starting to turn on them, and they have been turning on them for years now, and they don't get it. They do not get it. So tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.